welcome to Brooks Closet, the perfect store for your custom piece, specifically for you. Brooks Closet not only have or starting with the Bossy Gloss collection, but we have an array of colors that are available for your needs. The range of colors that you can see above is available for immediate purchase. Not only do we have the Bossy Gloss collection available, we also have other items available as well. We have an array of different designer-inspired candles, you guys. So here are some of the items we have available. We have wall art, specifically custom to custom apparel t-shirts for women, men, and children. Brooks Closet is going to be your last stop for your custom needs. Just take a look. You won't be disappointed. Please visit www.brookscloset.com. I can also be reached on Instagram at BrooksCEO_closet and YouTube at Brooks Closet. Hello, everybody. Hey, y'all. What's going on? Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, no problem. All right, you guys. Thank you, Rhonda, for coming in and hitting that thumbs up button and welcoming everybody as they come in, saying hello. So, hello to you all. Chastity, Tay Tay, and the Bush people. Hey, what's going on? What the business is for white. Hey, Forever Lisa, how you doing, my love, and welcome. I'll give some people some more time to come in. I am eating one of the best companies gummies besides the sugar. Is it the Sugar Factory? I don't want to say it's the Sugar Factory, but candy store. Where you get all the candy from. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it, my love. But this one particular company that you can get it out the store, and it tastes just like the goddamn gummies that is in the candy store. I'm not lying. So good. And guess what? It's good for my diet. Zero fat, zero trans fat, zero cholesterol, sodium and carbohydrates, but they have 1 gram of protein. And this is every 3 gummies. Okay. Me too. Rhonda, I was able to get out what I needed to get out and say what I needed to say. And the last message that you had left on my community wall, back it up, on my last video was the perfect message. I pinned it. So whoever goes and look at the video, they'll be able to see the message as well. All right, y'all. So as we wait for more people to come in, I'm trying to see if I can pull this particular book up. For those of you who don't know, technically this will probably be, oh, is this the book? No, wait a minute, hold on. Don't play with me like this, because it says click here for download. I hope it's a real download and not a fake download. I think it is. Okay, cool. Verify through survey. Okay, what is the survey? Hold on, y'all. Let me see. I got the verify via through survey. Okay, go. What are you asking me? Enter the details. What? What? I don't want to do that. They crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. What in the world? I ain't doing all that. They want me to do too much. Let me go back. I know I'll find it somewhere. I'm just gotta figure out where I'm gonna be able to find it at for download. Even if I have to pay any money for it, I will pay money for this. You guys can take a look. The name of this book is called Vaccine Whistleblower: Exposing Autism Research Fraud at the CDC. This book was written by attorney Kevin Barry. It was forwarded by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah, I know who that is, right? Do y'all know who that is and what that means? Mm-hmm. This is not my first, and let me I'll wait before I drop the link. Let me get everything I need to get out first. This is not the first time that I've had a conversation about this in reference to autism, speech delays, ADHD, and more. This is probably maybe my third or fourth live about it. I did a live earlier, like toward like last year about this time, maybe a little bit closer towards the springtime. But I did do a live in reference to this particular issue. Let me pull up the spectrum real quick. Hold on. And then I can go ahead and get started because I don't want to keep you guys all day. For those of you who will be catching this on the replay, thank you again for your click and your view. Please, if you can, make sure if you haven't already done so, hit the like button and share if you can, because definitely this is information where other people may be going through the same thing that I'm speaking of. I will be giving you guys the real life events that has happened. And one of these situations that I referenced tonight happened to my oldest son. So I will talk about that. As well as my adopted son. He is on a spectrum, as well as one of my cousins. Well, actually, two of my cousins are also on the spectrum for autism. Adopted son, nonverbal, cousin, nonverbal, other cousin is slightly nonverbal. So, I mean, it's a lot. So hold on. Right. Because I'm going to give you guys what the definition of some of this stuff is. You guys probably already know what some of this is, and that's fine. I mean, it's nothing wrong with ever going over more information. I'm going to tell you why I decided to have this conversation tonight, and then upon me telling you that this will be part one. We will be having another live to kind of bring everything round circle for part two. It's just that much information. It's that much. I mean, it's a lot. It's really a lot. Hold on. And then let me see. Okay, so this is all right. So let me click on this one here. And then I'm going to also give you guys what the definition is and what to look for, signs. Hold on. All right. Mm-hmm. All right, so let me click on here. Now, the only thing, you guys, I'm going to be really brutally honest. I really don't even know. I would rather look at a research or look at numbers that is not done by the government. I say that because of what I believe, and I'll explain that to you shortly. But I can tell you that autism is rising, and it's rising at an enormous rate. When I say it's rising at an enormous rate, if I had to give you numbers, before we hit the 2000s, it was maybe 1 in every 1,000 children was found to be autistic. By 2014, it's 1 in 59. That's alarming. That is alarming. So I'm going to read some information for you guys. I'm also going to pull up this chart, and it actually has the numbers on the chart. So for instance, Back in 2000, it was 1 in 150 children was diagnosed with autism. 2014, 1 in 59. That's a whole lot. That literally is something that, number one, is very alarming. And number two, something is doing it. You can't tell me that women are giving birth to children, and technically if they are having 2 to 3 kids, that means two or three out of the 4 or 5 kids will be autistic. That's crazy. I've never seen nothing that high in my life. The sad part is the only people who pay attention to this is children or parents who are autistic. Sadly enough, it's not a lot. It's really not a lot. Excuse me. So, all right. Hold on. I'm almost finished with putting up the level because that's what I need to put up the level. I think this is it right here. Okay, so this is probably the level right here. Hold on real quick for me, guys. Hold on 1 second here. Okay. Oh, yes, I was. What did you not hear me say? Because I was talking and I don't know if I hit the button by mistake. What was the last thing you heard me say? Because I was talking my ass off. Okay. I was talking. What was the last thing you heard me say? Lord have mercy, Jesus. Oh my God. What was the last thing you heard me say, Chastity? Damn. Man, it's always going something silly. She said, I hope you're not talking because we can't hear nothing you're saying. You're on the mute. And I absolutely was on the mute. And I absolutely was talking. Girl, you left and we're going for a hot minute. Last thing you said was hold on. Oh, my Jesus. Bitch. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Well, let me write this down there because I might have to. All right, hold on. Let me see. I might have to edit this. I might have to fix it. Let me see. We at 33 minutes. I'm gonna say 33:12. So I'm gonna say, I guess like the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 7 minutes, maybe. I'm gonna say just a 20. I'll say 25 to be on the safe side. I'll just edit that part out. Damn, my bad. Y'all missed everything that I said. I was telling y'all stuff about the graphs and about the OLED, the spectrum. I think y'all heard that part. Uh, did you hear me describe or read what autism disorder mean? Did you hear that? If you didn't hear me say that, I'll start back right there. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Did y'all hear me give the definition? Okay. All right, I'll start right there. That's why I like to have my earphones in and listen to my vibes because that don't happen. And I catch myself when I have my earphones on. And that's what I have my earphones on this time. So I ain't even hear it. Hold on. All right, got you. All right, no problem. I didn't got these earphones on so that I can listen to myself. Because if I would have had my earphones on, then I would have been able to hear. All right, I'm putting them on now. All right, got you. Start the definition. All right. All right. Earphones is connected. By the way, my hubby bought me these for Christmas. They are the bomb. They Beats. What is these? The BX. Paid a couple dollars for these BX, honey. All right, I'm on. Let me go to my channel. And I may as well go ahead and drop the link now because people can add their 2 cents if they would like. Let me invite. And I'm going to start where I think I left off at. Got it. All right. I got it, y'all. Paste and check. Go to my channel. All right. Hit the live chat and pin this. All right. Let me go to the backup channel and pin that. I usually do that. I can hear myself now. That's a shame. I should slap myself. Pop, 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 pop. All right, y'all. Let me go there. Okay. Pin message. There we go. All right. Let me go back to the main, and then we can go ahead and start with the definition and act like I didn't even realize it. Perfect. We are back. All right. And that's it. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get it. Get it, girl. Get it. Get it, girl. All right. All right. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, y'all, for being patient with me. I appreciate that because, baby, and I'm actually going to start it at 38 minutes. So I'm going to edit from 25 to 38 just so it won't be a long of a pause. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start back at what is the definition of autism. And let's go here. All right. Autism spectrum disorder, which is also known as ASD, is a complex development condition that involves persistent challenges in social interaction, speech and nonverbal communication, and restricted repetitive behaviors. The effects of ASD and the severity of symptoms are different in each person. So what I was saying was there are articles that are out. You have some articles that are done by the government, the CDC, and then you have some articles who are done by independent individuals who don't have a dog in the fight. All they want to put out is just the information from what they researched. What I asked was, I don't think I heard that. I hear a lot of people say, well, the government says, or the CDC says that autism or the vaccinations have nothing to do with autism. Well, I beg to differ. I have a different opinion. I have a different opinion because simply I know several people who have been affected, at least from what I can see, from vaccinations. One of them is my own son, not Carter, but Jason. I think I've told that story when I first started to talk about this, but I don't have a problem with telling it again. Jason was born on time to term, literally on his due date at 40 weeks. Jason was born. Jason was 7 pounds, 5 ounces. He was born on a Tuesday, December the 14th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He was 7 pounds, 5 ounces, and he was 21 inches long. I did have a complication with having him. When I went to the hospital, they had to induce my labor. I had went on the 13th, around like 11ish. I didn't have him until Tuesday, so I was in active labor as soon as I got there. Um, Once the doctor started seeing that his heart rate was going down, they did emergency surgery. It wasn't a long period of time, thank God. Long story short, Jason came out. Jason did a lot of developmental things early. He walked, he ran. He was able to comprehend, for the most part, certain things. If I say, hey, Jason, can you go in the kitchen and put this in the sink? He would do it. Jason, can you go and put your clothes in the dirty clothes? He'll do it. Jason, can you go and put your soda in the refrigerator? He'll do it. Those things didn't have an issue with. Even with understanding right and wrong, he understood to a certain extent which was right and was wrong. My son, my oldest, he's 21 years old now. He is in college with a GPA of approximately 3.93. Did not begin to talk until the age of around 5. Let me repeat this again. My baby, my 21-year-old son, Did not begin to talk until around the age of 5. At the time I had him, we lived in the county. I wanted him to attend school right away, which allowed for him. I used my mom's address for him to go to the city school because pre-K was being offered for all day. And I needed for him to be in school with other children. Immediately upon me putting him in school, of course we speak to the people who are there in reference to like the help that the children may need and so on and so on. And one of the things that he was on was comprehension and speech. He had a speech pathologist to help him with his speech. Now, at the time, to be honest, I wasn't sure of how to do it because, like I said before, my cousin, and I think y'all didn't hear that conversation, but my cousin had a son who was a year older than Jason, and he was nonverbal as well. I'm thinking like, wait a minute, is my son going to do the same thing? I begin to get him tested, send him to school, and for him, that wasn't the case. But he did have a delay of speech, which is technically on the autism spectrum, delay of speech. He didn't, like I said, he didn't talk until he was 5 years old. Me and his father knew what he was talking about, of course, because what? We're his parents. But other people couldn't understand. And this is how he would sound when he talked. He wouldn't have an abnormal cry, but he would talk like this. I'm going to try to mimic it a little bit. He would say, Ma, mommy, mommy, I believe I now I would be like, what the what? Like this is when he was younger, before he, hit the point before I figured out like, wait a minute, something's not right. That's how he would sound. He came out with a gap from birth. He got that for both me and my husband, me and his dad. Me and his dad both have a gap, so we knew that was going to be a feature that he has. Anyhow, long story short, when I put him in school at the age of 4, he went to pre-K. They put him on the EIP, and he basically excelled from there. He surprised us. My son wasn't speaking at 3 and 4 like Carter speaks and know how to do different languages. He did not. But what he did was, when he was able to get it together in his brain, he was 5. He was in a kindergarten, and he just came out and said, we was over my aunt's house at the time, who she lived out O'Donnell Heights. So all my cousins and stuff was out there. We was just out there chilling. And he had said to one of his cousins, she was like, I'm about to go to the store. Anybody want anything? And what he said to her was, her name was Buddha. He said, yeah, Buddha, I want a cigarette. OMG. Those were his first official words that everybody else could understand. Like I said, we understood because we were his parents, but other people didn't understand because they weren't used to, what he said or whatever. So the fact that it was his first sentence, honey, I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm not pressed. But he has only gotten better since then. Okay. From pre-K all the way up to maybe 8th, he had comprehension and he had speech. Speech ended once he entered high school. Once he entered into high school, the speech part was fine. He was caught up on speech. The comprehension lasted, I think, up until maybe 10th grade. More of the story is, if I go back and look at some of the signs, he had them. When it comes down to me telling him how to get things done, I didn't do it to which the magnitude that I tell Carter to do things, because it wasn't connecting. So I would have to break it down to how he knew what I was talking about. And that is just what parents do. Once you understand that your baby is suffering from something and they aren't catching on to what you're saying, then you have to find other ways to communicate that comes natural. At least I know for me it did. For me, it came natural. You know what I mean? So that is what happened with me. That was my own personal thing. So then some would say, okay, well, what is the three main symptoms of autism, right? If you wanted to sit back, let's take a look at the and I'm going to name patterns of behavior. And of course, there are more signs and symptoms, and I'll be more than willing to go over those for you. What are the three main symptoms of autism? So parents who, if you think maybe your son or your daughter or your grandchild or your niece or your cousin, your neighbor's daughter, just listen to these things and see whether or not you see them in yourself. And then maybe you may want to have a conversation to have them looked at by a doctor, a psychiatrist, to establish their level of learning. Repetitive behaviors like hand flapping, rocking, jumping, and twirling. Consistent moving, pacing, and hyper behavior, moving back and forth, walking from kitchen to the living room and fast pace, just continues to do it all day long. Fixations on certain activities or objects. I do know that some artistic children, they are excellent with the cube, where they have to put the cube like all the colors. They also like what was it that they like that everybody was doing? Everybody was doing this thing and it was meant for artistic children, but everybody started doing it because they liked the activity. It happened like a year or two ago. What was it? My husband told me what it was. What was it? I can't remember shit. Wait a minute. What was that the kids would do? And everybody started doing it. It became a little fad, you know, but it originated from artistic children. That was one of their exercises. When I remember, I'll blurt it out. Specific routines and rituals, and getting upset when a routine is changed, even slightly. Extreme sensitivity to touch, light, and sound. All right. Let me click on here. All right. All right, y'all. All right. So I'm gonna read this piece of information to you. And I'm gonna start here at social skills. A child with ASD has a hard time interacting with others. Problems with social skills are most of the most common signs. They might want to have close relationships, but not know how. If your child is on the spectrum, they might show some social symptoms by the time they're 8 to 10 months. These may include any of the following. They don't respond to their name by their first birthday. Playing, sharing, or talking with other people don't interest them. They prefer to be alone. They avoid or reject physical contact. They avoid eye contact. When they're upset, they don't like to be comforted. They don't understand emotions, their own or others. They may not stretch out their arms to be picked up or guided when walking. Communication. About 40% of kids with autism spectrum disorder don't talk at all, and between 25% and 30% develop some language skills during infancy, but they lose them later. Some children with ASD started talking later in life. Here's the thing. I think I did mention that, but I was on mute. My cousin, her son is a year older than Jason. When he came out, everything worked fine. He even began to say words. When he hit like 1.5, he began to backtrack. He wasn't talking anymore. So that kind of, was like, wait a minute, a child isn't supposed to move backwards. They're supposed to move forward. He grew like he was supposed to. He walked like he was supposed to. Everything that happened with him physically, it happened on time, except for that. All right. Most have some problems with communication, including these: delayed speech and language skills, flat, robotic speaking voice or sing-song voice, repeating the same phrase over and over. It's called echolalia. Problems with pronouns, saying you instead of I, for example. Not using or rarely using common gestures, pointing or waving, and not responding to them. Inability to stay on topic when talking or answering questions. Not recognizing sarcasm or joking. Patterns of behavior. Children with ASD also act in ways that seem unusual or have interests that aren't typical. Examples of these include repetitive behaviors like hand flapping. Wait a minute, that's not it. I'm sorry. It took me over to the top. What? Oh no, that was it. Oh no, my bad. That was it. Hold on, let me see. Did I skip something? Okay, hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay, my bad. Sorry, I did. All right. Yeah, patterns of behavior. I think I read that the first time. Okay, but let me read it here. Repetitive behaviors, like I said, like hand flapping, rocking, jumping, or twirling, consistent moving, pacing, or hyper behavior, fixation on certain activities or objects, specific routines or rituals, extremely sensitive to touch, light, and sound, not taking part in make-believe play or intimidating others' behavior, fussy eating habits, lack of coordination, clumsiness, impulsiveness, acting without thinking, aggressive behavior both with self and others, short attention span. Spotting signs and symptoms. The earlier treatment for autism spectrum disorder begins, the more like it is to be effective. That's why knowing how to identify the signs and symptoms is so important. Make an appointment with your child's pediatrician if they don't meet these specific developmental milestones, or if they meet but lose them later on. Some of those are smiles by 9 months, smiling, intimidates or mimic facial expressions or sounds by 9 months, calls or babbles by 12 months, gestures, point and wave by 14 months, speaks with single words by 16 months, and uses phrases of 2 words or more by 24 months, plays, pretend, or make believe by 18 months. So it's a lot. It's really more than I can, like I said, get into one live, because I want to make sure that everybody gets the information. Um, from what I'm seeing here, autism spectrum disorder has 3 levels. You have the highly functioning autism, which is level 1. Level 1 people need support, patience, social and communication skills, and repetitive behaviors are only noticeable without support. You have autism level 2, needs substantially support, patience, social and communication skills, and repetitive behaviors are still obviously to the casual observer, even with support in place. And then you have severe autism, which is level 3. Needs very substantial support. Patient social and communication skills and repetitive behavior severely impact their daily lives. So one would say, okay, well, let's say you have, or let's say your family members um, have a child, and you have been around this child for the longest time, and then you see the child say mama, dada, and then after some months, as they get older, they're no longer saying mama, dada. They sound like da la la. That could be a sign. Not say that it is, but that could be a sign. I'm not for sure if my son was ever on a spectrum. But what I can tell you is that the fact that his speech was delayed, I believe that at one point he may have been. And I also believe that by me doing the vaccinations to which we did, made the correlation. I say that because my cousin, her son, who was a year older than Jason, he was getting his vaccinations 6, 8, 10 times at the same time on the same day. And she noticed that as he got older. My cousin's son, who is my cousin, is not the only child that happened to. My son, I know for a fact that he had got 4 needles in one leg and 4 in the other. And I asked his doctor at the time, you got to remember, I was young. I had just turned 17. I was 16. I was pregnant with him. I just turned 17. Right? So when he was 1, I was 18. Right? Or 17 going to 18. I don't know about this type of stuff. I'm taking my baby to get his shots. And I see my baby get stuck. I'm not thinking, well, wait a minute, this is too much. Because what I did for the baby, I did it totally different. And the only shots that he received were the ones that are required for him to attend school. There have been research stating that the mercury could be a cause. Of course, the CDC is going to state that vaccinations have nothing to do with autism. Mm-hmm. Just so happened that I know a lot of parents who say that they saw their child get vaccinations of abundance, and before they knew it, their child was suffering from some form of autism. It's a lot to this. This is a very, very, very serious live. Um, it's a lot. Brooke, as far as I'm gonna say by it's pretty number the age. Okay. Brooke, as far as vaccination order numbers have increased in recent years, that would make me think that if vaccinations have anything to do with it, it would be newer vaccinations that new wait a minute, what years was it? All right, so there is a chart, and I can tell you this much. I'm glad you said that, Rhonda, because they have also, how you doing, Sugar Cane? They've also said that new vaccinations has came about. You got to remember, every damn body has got the MMR, the measles shot, the chickenpox shot. You know, we got that shot because that was something that we needed to prevent us from getting those particular things, right? But it's new stuff that they've been adding on. And one of the new things that they added on was this HPV. And they were giving young children this HPV shot. Why do our children need an HPV shot? Especially if they're younger and they're not having sex. It doesn't make sense to me. There are other vaccinations that are recommended but not required. And that is something that I would say to every parent, to look at your state's list. You do not have to have your child have every single one of them. The second thing that I did to help my baby, which is the baby, the 6-year-old, when we went to the doctors, I requested that she do one vaccination at a time. I will make those multiple trips. But because of my opinion about vaccinations and autism and speech delays, ADHD, I want one vaccination per trip. If I got to bring him once every month to get caught up, I will do that. But you're not pumping him with several vaccinations at the same time. That's not getting ready to happen. Now, there is a lot of people who have said autism has nothing to do with vaccinations. You shitting me. Why would the government tell you that it do? Who is the person who regulates vaccinations and gets paid off of it? I'll wait. Who is the people who is making this required for our children and ourselves? I'll wait. Why would the government say autism is related to vaccinations? Make that shit make sense. They're not going to say that. Do you know why? Because then there will be several multi-million-dollar lawsuits against the government for making our children incomparable. And it's not all. I think the way that this type of like far as I'm with the content that's going on, I like to have numbers to make sure I back my numbers up. I did have a chart. Let me see if I can put this chart up. Because it's a lot. It's not like it's just, oh, you know, da da da. But I can tell you this, and let me read this. This article was done. This is not a state article. I mean, this is not a government article. It is through a third party, right? And it was released on April the 2nd, which is National Autism Awareness Day. And here's what it says. And then after I read this, if anyone wants to come up and give their opinion or story, they can. If not, then you can wait for part 2. Part 2 will probably be sometime this week, and we're going to finish it up, and then we can, talk about it then. This is very important to me, like I said before, because this is information that all of us as parents need, because we got to make sure that we're looking for it. This article was written by Sarah Feldman, April the 2nd, 2019. The CDC's long-standing research has found that autism rates are being more readily identified in communities they are studying. In 2000, which is a year before my son was born, the CDC Autism and Development Disability Monitoring, which is also known as ADDM study, found that every 100 children, for every 1,000, the study found that for every 1,000 children, 6.7 were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, which is also known as ASD. That pans out to roughly 1 in every 150 children. By 2014, the most recent year data were collected for this survey. For every 1,000 children, 16.8 were diagnosed with ASD, which works out to be a rare 1 out of 59 children. The increase in the diagnosis rate over the time does not necessarily mean that the true value in a statistical sense of autism in the general population is changing. While the average national rates are represented in the chat, researchers found wide varieties between diagnosed rates between each of the 11 research sites across the country, pointing to an overall imprecision in how autism is and can be diagnosed. In New Jersey, excuse me, I'm trying to finish up, please watch out. In New Jersey, where educational records are readily available, 1 in 34 children are identified as ASD. Hold on real quick, you guys. 1 second. My bad, you guys. All right. Where was I at? Let me see. Let me see. All right, let me see. I'm trying to find out where I was at. Okay. The increase in the diagnosis rate over time does not necessarily mean that the true value in a statistical sense of autism and the general population is changing. While the average national rates are represented in the chart, researchers found wide varieties between diagnosis rates between each of the 11 research sites across the country, pointing to an overall imprecision in how autism is and can be diagnosed. In New Jersey, where educational records are readily available, 1 in 34 children were identified as ASD, while in Arkansas, there was a 1 in 77 identification rates for ASD. The wild variation between sites indicated that more research is needed to consistently identify autism and better understanding the true rate across the nation. There are many barriers to diagnosing autism. While autism can be readily identified in children as early as 2, most children aren't being diagnosed until after 4 years of age, meaning that the crucial years of intervention and therapy are being lost. Autism diagnoses are often missed in girls and minority children, I'm sorry. Boys were 4 times more likely to be identified with ASD than girls, and white children were more likely to be diagnosed with autism more than minority children. The ethnic, racial, and gender gap has narrowed since the study began, reflecting increased awareness and improving screenings. So basically, what is happening is more parents are stepping in earlier to get their children help, and that's good. You know what I mean? That's excellent. I'm gonna read this last. I just read that part. I'm gonna read this last piece right here, then we're gonna move forward, and then I'll probably end this live so that I can do some more work. And I don't know if I'm making a video or am I going to do a live. I'll probably make a video. I'm not for sure. Okay. The CDC's Autism and Developmental Disability Monitoring Network was created in 2000. So let me just write this down because I need to see that. It's the ADD Network 2000. And is a recurring study orchestrated between 2000 and 2014 to better understand the prevalence of children with autism spectrum disorder and other developmental disorders. Researchers examined the medical records and, when available, education records of 8-year-old children in 11 different sites, locations across the United States: Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Georgia, Maryland, Minnesota, Missouri, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. The study has some limitations, of course. The research warns about interference about the changing number and characteristics of children with ASD over time. While study while study methods and geographic coverage have remained consistent over time, bias are introduced into the study due to the use of survey and time series data. And then, like I said, there is a chart that shows, of course, the increase. It's an increase. It's an increase. So here's the plan on what we're going to be doing. And I definitely see all of your comments, you guys. Major textual, yep. ADHD and dyslexia, yep. Rhonda, I'm glad Brooke is doing this because I have a lot of grandbabies. Okay. And then, like I said, it is a lot of grandmoms that be in here. And if you see something, say something. You know what I mean? Because the earlier the better. The earlier the better that the child could get help. Um My oldest is ADHD. Food wasn't an issue much, but clothing was and actually still is. And she is 30 years old now. Now, see, let me just say this because I think some of that stuff, I think really is the child. Carter didn't like clothes on him from literally birth up until maybe 3. He always wanted to be naked. Like he didn't like clothes on him. He didn't like clothes. So like I literally was at work at my shop doing hair, and I had my cousin with me. She was watching him. And, it was a hot day, but it was air in it. It felt good. But he got upset because I had put him on an outfit. Honey, he would not stop crying until I took that outfit off him. Once I took that outfit, and then listen, we went through feeding, and he wasn't no bottle. He wasn't wet. I checked his tummy. I mean, I was just doing everything, and I couldn't figure out why. I said, well, let me take his clothes off and see. Just, at the point when you hear somebody cry for a long period of time, you willing to do anything, right? So I said, well, let me take his clothes off and see and just keep his pamper on. Baby, I took them clothes off and had that pamper on. That boy ain't utter a word. And I'm talking about Carter. He ain't utter a word after I took his clothes off. You know what I mean? So I guess it's just the child. My only thing is I don't like putting titles on our children. That's what I don't like. I don't like for people to say, oh, well, my child is autistic. Well, why do you believe that? Your child could grow out of that. Your child may not be artistic. It just could be something that's normal. You know what I mean? Not just that, you got to look at everything from vaccinations to the food that we giving our kids. They pumping this stuff with so many hormones. It's ridiculous. You know? So, yeah. And I can tell you this too. It was a series that I was watching because I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna read this book before I do part 2. I'm gonna read this book thoroughly before I do part 2, and I'll have inserts from the book so that I can show y'all what's in the book. Okay. Um, when it when it comes down to like one child, the parent put the child on medication. It was stomping his growth. He wasn't growing. The parent took him off, and the boy sprouted. So it's a lot with that. It's a lot more research that needs to be pulled and needs to be reviewed. And I want to look at charts. I want to look at data. I want to look at if anything was specifically, you feel me? There. So that's what we'll do. I thank each and every last one of you guys for coming. This was an informative live. This was something that needed to be said. And as I stated on several times, I don't care if we got one person or we got 5 or we got 50. I don't care. This information needs to be put out. And if we are being responsible as adults, then everybody should be able to understand what's going on. So I'm looking at y'all comments now. 2014. Nikki hates socks and shoes. And pre-K. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Soon as you take these babies on that medication, I would never put my kid on no medication. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I am not. That ain't gonna happen. Nor are they gonna get this 19 vaccination either. Neither one. Neither one. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this live real quick. I got a few things I need to do in reference to doing the stuff for K Man. Okay. He look like a linebacker. I'm trying to he gonna knock him out. Knock him out. Knock him out. All right, y'all. Let me get up out of here. I love y'all here. Me and Malik will probably be doing a joint live tomorrow during the daytime. He sleep now, y'all. Y'all know he an early bird. He goes to bed before I do. I'll be the only one woke in the house. Everybody else will sleep. I'll be the only one woke. Thank you, Chastity. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, everybody else who came in and support. Thank you, guys. All right, well, look, I'm gonna end this live. I'm gonna go and read this book. And then after I read this book, I'm gonna come back and let y'all know what I found. All right, y'all. Good night. Bye.